We might have to cut.
Hi, welcome to the CNT Auctioneers YouTube channel. This is part of our collector series that we're trying to introduce, and we're delighted. Our first video here is with a good friend of mine, Doug Flower, and he's got one of the most fabulous collections of First World War Militaria. So lead us away, Dougie.
Okay, follow this way.
So collectors, here you can see we are in one of the most fabulous collection rooms that certainly I've had the privilege to be invited into. Dougie has been collecting, I believe, Imperial German stuff for how long, Dougie, roughly?
Oh, 40 years.
40 years,
yeah.
Wow. And what got you into collecting mostly Imperial German and First War? Was it Imperial German you started with? Or?
Well, a mixture. I mean, I started collecting medals. That was my original real passion. That's because I had some family medals with the ribbons, but not the medals because they'd been missing or sold. So I started an interest then when I was in my teens, I guess, and read The Victor, of course, was a great magazine at the time, and was always fascinated, particularly by the First World War.
Right.
And these spiky chaps.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, Dougie's got one of a real fabulous collection of Imperial helmets, or pickelhaubes as we're officially known. So we're going to have a look through, and Dougie, show me. I mean, what was the first one you bought? Do you remember? I mean, have you still got the first one?
The first one, I've got bits of it under a cover, but it was a very damaged one that had been put together.
Right. Okay.
I don't know. I think the first one would have been the Prussian one, and I don't have it anymore.
No. Well, a lot of collectors, especially if you've been collecting a long time, don't tend to have the first.
You tend to upgrade. You get better condition ones, and you say goodbye to old friends and welcome new ones.
Sure.
But,
well, Dougie, tell me a little bit about some of the ones in this cabinet here, because I can see you've got a good selection of mostly Prussian. I think they're all Prussian. Yeah, look like all Prussian.
Yeah. So what we've got, these are all Prussian.
Oh, okay.
On this side, and it's trying to show the evolution from the brass ones to the leather to the tin to the paper mache and all the variations through the ersatz. And here we have Baden, and trying to cover all the different states and as we go around. But yeah, it's just really the development until someone sensible came along and said, well, how about one that gives us more protection, and the Stahlhelm came in.
Yes, so the Stahlhelm came in obviously in 1916.
Yeah.
The introduction of the steel helmet to add better protection, and we're going to have a look a bit later at one of the reasons for the Stahlhelm is as we do joke about the pickled pickles, which we'll come back and see as we walk around the room. But so I mean, Doug, if you mind, would you mind showing us a couple of these ones you've got here?
We got. I mean, that's one of my favourites. It's the old tin sprung one, Prussian one, good size. I just love it. I love the colour. I love the fact that it is what it is really, and they're quite scarce.
These turn up very limited really nowadays, collectors, because they are like I say, like an ersatz spin tin pickelhaube, as when the problems with levers came in, and most ones you see tend to be Prussian, but I know Douglas is lucky enough to have
70% Prussian, something like that, I think.
Douglas is lucky enough to have a Baden one, which we will show you shortly. But this is another, if I may, Douglas.
Yes, please.
This is a superb example of one of the felt ersatz helmets. Now, a lot of collectors get worried about these helmets because of the amount of reproductions that were made, but when you see original ones, you can just tell instantly. And what's lovely about this one is it's got all the original finish on the plate and the spike. Hopefully, collectors, you can see that. And really, if you're looking for one of these, try and buy one in the best condition you possibly can. You either get them in this more stiff felt, or sometimes they're a bit softer. But I particularly like the more stiffer formed felt pickelhaubes. I think that's a real super example. And if I may, just quickly, you can see the interior linings. Now, I don't know if you agree with me, Douglas, but it's very rare to find felt helmets with regimental stampings like you do in the leather.
Yes.
Occasionally you see them, but it is quite rare. So again, collectors don't get put off if you don't see any regimental stampings inside of one. So wow, I think
I have one or two.
Right. Okay.
That, as you say, not seen often.
No. And what are these ones at the bottom here?
Well, again, these are variations of the ersatz ones. I mean, that's our friend Mickey
Yes.
Once possessed that one.
Me and Douglas were first introduced by a good friend of both of us, who was sadly no longer with us, Michael Baldwin, who you may remember we'd seen to Auctioneers. We were lucky enough to be able to offer Michael's collection for sale some years back, and this was one of the ones in the collection, wasn't it?
One of the ones, yes.
Yeah, I mean, this is a real super one. Typically just how Mickey used to like collecting stuff, all untouched. Yeah, this is a real fine piece, and these are very rare to find collectors. So yeah, but if you do find one, grab it, because you probably won't see another one for a long time.
I've never seen another one like that.
No, this is a real super one. Yeah, I remember this one when cataloguing it. So.
And this fellow is, it's funny that those are often described as tropical helmets, aren't they? But they're not. I'm pretty sure they're Western Front, and they would have been grayer.
Yep.
It's faded.
Yeah. So these are like a cloth covered, aren't they? A cloth covered cork, often the case. Yeah. A lot of people do describe them as for use in sort of Palestine and the Far East campaigns. But no, I agree with Douglas that these are probably more likely our Western Front. And I believe there is some talk that they did come in around 1914. I have heard.
Is that right? Okay.
So I have heard some information.
Every day's a school day. So.
Yeah, quite. And again, so you can see inside this collector's. Hopefully, you can see that it's got some nice the liners all in there, which is very nice, and you can see the cork body. So that's a really nice example, Douglas. Thank you for showing us.
That's all right. Where do we want to go next? Moving along.
We'll move along. Yeah, I think moving along sounds good. So. We've got
that one.
Out of doing this.
So this is that always interests me when you see the covers on them.
Yep.
And in this case, when you had the removable spike.
These are
15 pattern.
This is nice because again, collectors, there's various forms of patterns of cover. So like Dougie said, this is for the 1915 pattern that has the removable spike top. And these are really hard to find, aren't they? We had one recently in an auction, but the actual to find the cover tops for the spikes, because so often you see original pictures of the Imperial German, and they're not even wearing the spikes; they're just wearing these as they are. So they are rare to find. So again, if you find one of these covers, do grab it when you can. So.
Yes, you'd obviously take it off because when you're in the trenches, it will give you a position away having a spike sticking up. Especially a tall chap like you.
Exactly. I'd be too tall for the trenches, luckily. So.
I'm really just showing them. We've got some officers' examples, some guard, corps ones, some Kugelhelms, which is the artillery version. Do you want to have a look at what
let's have a look at those. So
that's a guards one, which is rather nice. Grey metal again with removable. In that case,
so again, nice.
Ball.
The Kugelhelm, like Dougie said, is the Kugelhelm for artillery troops, with obviously the difference being the ball top as opposed to the spike, which obviously Kugel is ball in German, so that's what that equivalent is. Why they're called Kugelhelms. Again, nice leather one, but what's nice again about this one is it's for one of the guard regiments. So you've got this big wrap-round eagle with the guard starburst in the centre. So let's move on to some of these ones in this end cabinet, because these are really rare ones, aren't they? So
they are indeed, yes.
Yeah. So collectors, we're now moving on to some of the smaller duchy states of Prussia. So we've got Oldenburg. Here, and we've got some of the Hanseatic with the Waterloo plate. This is a lovely example. This is very rare. This is the M15 version for an Oldenburg Pickelhaube, other ranks. Again, original cockades plate, and again, all just super sleepy, untouched example. Really, really nice and rare to find. I think I've only ever seen one Oldenburg M15 like this.
Seen one.
Yeah, no, it's a real super example. And again, collectors, when you're buying the rarer helmets, we always sort of say to you guys, really look for ones that are regimentally marked, because if you get ones that are regimentally marked, which I believe this one is, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's a much better telltale that it's definitely all original and has always been together. So if you can, when you're buying the rarer helmets, try and buy regimentally marked ones when possible.
If you plonk that back.
That one back in.
This one just goes back to what you were saying earlier, Matt. That's a felt one, but not regimentally marked. But
Okay.
but you would expect that.
Yeah, that's the case. Like we said, felt helmets, very hard to find regimentally marked. So in that case, what would you look for? You try and look for indentations on the plate, on the felt, so you can sort of see that it's always been in. If you see indentations of maybe where another plate has been, it could be a case that the plate's been replaced. So again, try and look for ones that have they've got some indentation if there's not regimentally marked, so it all matches. But again, this is a real super example.
I've got a thing about Oldenburg, I think.
Have you? Yeah, Oldenburg is one of your favourite states, yeah?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the third version, which is the typical Prussian version.
Yep.
Is regimentally marked.
Wow, okay.
And of course, there's the cover, which is nice.
So again, this is lovely, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful example with the original cover. Look how that green has faded on that cover, on the numbers. Really nice leather shell, and beautiful. Again, like I was saying, nicely regimentally marked in here to the Oldenburg Regiment. So, which is 91, which matches the cover here. So yeah, very, very nice example.
So that's a good threesome.
Yeah, no, they're lovely.
And what else would you like to have a look at?
Well, let's have a look at maybe. You can see, probably we've done a few pickle hoops there. We will come back to some more pickle hoops because obviously Doug has got all the various states and stuff, so we will show you some more. But if you just look up here, collectors, this is incredible. This stuff you just never see. I mean, it's wonderful. Machine guns, the various types. So we got the 0815.
0815.
0815 here. And then we have the Maxim gun here, which this looks like it's had a hard life, this one. So
yeah, it was captured by, I think it's the 22nd Royal Fusiliers.
Okay.
And presented to a town hall. Can't remember. It's on there somewhere. But
oh, okay.
It's been battle damage and the lock is missing. But
yeah,
it's a piece of history.
That's superb. Typically, just as it's been brought back from the front lines, that's the one. Even you can see here where the wood's gone on the grip. You can sort of see, and there's all the age patina. It's really superb piece. Real captures the imagination. And this is a nice one as well. The 0815. This is the one that came in later, wasn't it?
Yes. It's the lighter version to sort of match our Lewis, I guess. They're interesting things.
They're interesting things. I mean, obviously, these all have to be deactivated here in the United Kingdom, but these are very, very popular. When they come onto the market, when the odd time they do come onto the market, they do command a premium, but you can still find them. You know, there's a lot of the good deactivated gun companies out there. They do have them from time to time. So if you are looking for one, I would certainly look at buying one if you've got the space, because they're a good focal point for a collection.
They look nice in the lounge, don't they, really? I think.
Lovely in the lounge, yes. I can't imagine anything better.
Bathroom, perhaps.
Bathroom. One of the pieces in this room that really always captures my imagination is when I see this glass cabinet. Now, this cabinet's just got a bit of everything, and every time I've come here and seen you, Douglas, I spot something new every time. You obviously, either you keep putting new things in there, or it's just something else captures my eye.
I think the thing is, as a collector, when you're going to markets and things like that, you're always looking, aren't you, scanning.
Yeah.
So I really did this for collectors, because just that, I was like, oh, I wouldn't mind one of those. And
yeah.
And I actually, no, it hasn't changed. Having set it up, I can't get at it.
Oh, okay.
So, which is frustrating, because I'd like to, I'd like to have a look at some of the things. But
sure.
It's pretty well packed in there.
Yeah.
But as I say, it's just a feast for the eyes, I think. And
so what thing in here really catches your eye? What is one of your favourite pieces that's in this cabinet here?
Well, I love the gas mask sets, and I love the stick grenades with all the various different types, and some pretty good condition ones there, because a lot of them are sort of quite ropey and rusty, but they're very nice. I don't know really. There's some nice bugles. I mean, that's the whole point. You forget. You sure? And then you go and look at it again, and then get frustrated you can't get at them.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, again, I sort of echoed the points there. The gas mask set is absolutely fabulous, and they're so rare to find.
There's about 3 of them in there.
Oh, is it? Well, they are so rare to find unless you're in his collection room, and there's 3 of them.
I'll make them, actually.
So, there's some great pieces. And what's nice with this cabinet as well, and you may have noticed when you look at some of the other still pictures or the videos of the cabinets, Doug's been really good at adding little features and little pieces into the cases, which are really good. Like there's a set of playing cards here. There's odd little medals, cockades, belt buckles. all little what we'd call maybe like filler bits for the
personal
collections.
effects.
Personal
Their
effects, yeah,
kits,
and it's great to have it when you do displaying items, to have things like that, because it just brings the whole collection to life, I always feel. So it's a really, I can't stress how well this room is put together. And I know all collectors don't always have the room to be able to do this, you know, I'm quite aware of that. But if you do have a room, or you've got the ability, the idea of this video is to show that this sort of thing can be done with a lot of hard work and a lot of money, unfortunately, as we say. Yeah. But if you've got a good eye and you like to look at good pieces, you will find some... you can still find some fabulous pieces and build a really nice collection like this one. And as I'm saying all this, again, my eyes are drawn, because I do have a passion for the Imperial German headdress. These beautiful helmets from the state of Mecklenburg,
yes,
which is one of my favourite states. So we've got Mecklenburg Schwerin and Mecklenburg Sterlitz. Okay, so that's the two different parts of Mecklenburg, but slightly different plates. And again, you've got the sort of belts with the buckles, and again, the two different variants. So they're really, really super examples. And again, hard helmets to find. So you've got an enlisted man and an officer's here. But I love that big starburst helmet plate. It's fabulous.
Wonderful looking things, aren't they?
They are, yes. And keeping to that Mecklenburg theme, I'll probably stand in the way of it at the moment. But we have this wonderful mannequin here for an enlisted ranks from Mecklenburg. Wonderful original tunic, lovely lanyard, all the insignia. It just oozes history. Really, really wonderful piece, and so well displayed with the boots, trousers, the equipment, stick grenade. Yeah, he really looks the part. You should be very proud of him.
The 89th.
Is that what it was? 89th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wonderful, wonderful, wonderful piece. How could I miss this? It's on the floor here. So we've got a really rare piece of weaponry. This is the Mauser, the Tankgewehr, the German invented anti-tank rifle. These are a real fabulous piece. We had one only in our auction last year or beginning this year. At some point we've had one recently. But they are so rare to find, and this is a superb example. I mean, do you remember where you found that, Dudley?
Yes, I got that Target Arms.
Target Arms, okay, yeah.
And again, Mickey was involved in that, because that's how
he sourced it from
I met Mickey, and he okayed it, and taught me a lot about the history of it. So.
Yeah, no, there were only very few of these made, wasn't there?
Yes, don't ask me how many.
No, I'm not going to ask you how many. I'm not going to put you on the spot, don't worry. But yeah,
there is a German book, actually, that lists all the survivors.
Oh, really?
That Mickey had a copy of.
Oh, did he? Wow.
But
wow.
It didn't have this one on it, so it's not complete.
No, okay. But yeah, no.
All the numbers. Yeah.
Really fabulous and rare piece of, weaponry or equipment, however you want to put it, but nice.
It's the first of its kind, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. No, it's a superb piece. Can you tell us a bit about this?
Yeah, it's an Austrian trench periscope. I love trench periscopes, but this one, getting onto the pickle theme, has taken a few hits, as can be seen. Wow. But strangely enough, it doesn't affect it. It still works just as well. So
right, okay. So probably found on the Italian front, would you think?
It would have been.
Yeah, being the Austrian. Yeah.
Just tin, simple thing really.
Yeah.
Wow. Save your life. You wouldn't have to stick your head over the trench and put that over instead.
And see where the enemy were coming from, yeah.
See where the enemy were coming from, yeah.
Going still on that Austrian theme, there's a few Austrian pieces in here, we notice. I mean, the Austrian stuff's quite rare to find, isn't it? We don't find it quite as much as the German stuff over here in the UK. But you've got a nice, what's known as the Berndorfer helmet in here, the Austrian trench knife, and a standard steel helmet there by the looks of things, standard Austrian helmet.
Yep.
So some nice little Austrian pieces in there.
That's Austrian as well.
Yeah. So the Fairweather Shako. Yeah, Shako. Yeah, Fairweather Shako. So as we've worked our way round now, like Doug said, he's got some helmets here from the other states, and we've got quite a few here. Looks like from Bavaria, and Bavaria is a very, very collectible state of Germany. I don't know if you found, but lots of collectors.
The second largest.
So there's lots of collectors, and there's some really nice examples of the various types. So you've got the mounted artillery here, which you notice they have the spike as opposed to the ball top. The Bavarians. They did introduce a ball top right at the end of the period, 15-16 period, before the Stahlhelm came in, they did have some helmets with a ball top, but the majority of people recognise them with spikes, don't they, for Bavaria?
Indeed.
But again, you've got some nice examples of ones with original covers, tin, leather M15s, felts, Pioneer as well, because the Pioneer all have silver, white metal fittings. So that's a good thing to see with collectors when you find a Pioneer one with white metal fittings. And then as we move on through Bavaria, we come to, again, another very, very popular state for collectors, which is Saxony. And again, in here, you've got a nice example here, which is, I would assume is that a 1-year volunteer? The 100 Regiment one?
Yeah, do you know? I don't know. I think it's just an ordinary rank.
Just an ordinary rank.
I think
okay.
So.
The quality of it looked almost like it would be a 1-year volunteer.
Maybe.
Which is 1-year volunteer helmets often have the quality.
They normally have the. Do they not?
They do normally, yeah. So they sometimes have the quality of an officer's helmet for the 1-year volunteers. But no, I think Doug is right. This is actually just a standard enlisted ranks. And again, look for the Saxon style cockade, which is that non-serrated type cockade, which is Saxony and Hesse had that type of cockade, didn't they, as well?
Yes.
And you sometimes see with Württemberg, they had almost like a ribbon effect, didn't they, the neck cockade? So it's all little touches that certain various states had, but it's quite a good thing to look for, collectors, when you're looking for nice helmets like this. So again, beautiful inside, nice original liner. Though he's not done his dusting, obviously the cobwebs are there, so but they're period cobwebs. So
they are straight from the trenches.
Straight from the trenches, cobwebs from the trenches. So, but again, sometimes in these helmets, you do see old paper labels, and they can sometimes have the name of the original owner. Especially in pre-war helmets, you often see that, don't you? So, but no, that's a nice one. So again, this is a very, very nice example of a Saxon. Again, you can see the non-serrated cockades, but this example is for one of the reserve regiments. So you have the Landwehr cross behind the Saxon coat of arms. And that's a really, really nice, that tells you that it's a reserve helmet. And again, you can see it's got nice regimental markings in there. That's a super untouched helmet, that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. We were saying, collectors, before about dressing your collection well. Dougie's done a brilliant job here of using shoulder straps and medal groups and buckles and that just to display his helmets here, and these are all for Saxony. And when we had the Michael Baldwin collection, I never quite realised his fascination with shoulder straps, but it's only since I've been doing more and more with Imperial stuff that I have actually discovered a passion for the shoulder straps, because these items were so often souvenired by British soldiers, weren't they, when as bringbacks as souvenirs. So what Dougie's done here is great. He's got so this for Saxon Regiment 100, which is why it was slightly different fittings. He's got the shoulder strap for Saxon Regiment 100 as well, which is just a nice little touch to put with your pickles. If you've got a nice regimentally marked helmet, display it lovely with a nice shoulder strap from that regiment as well. Which
and
is
a belt buckle, perhaps. And
belt buckle, yeah, because it's a good thing with Saxon ones as well. Sometimes Saxon belt buckles are stamped, aren't they, with the regimental marks on the top. Some other regiments, but generally Saxon you find more often than a lot of the other states, rather, of Imperial Germany. Moving on now here to this end cabinet. Now, like Dougie said, he loved what was the plate you loved? The helmet plate?
The Mecklenburg.
Mecklenburg. My favourite is Hesse. The state of Hesse has always been my favourite helmet plate and my favourite state. And again, this is a very rare example. And again, I can't remember exactly the regiment.
115th.
115th. So this was the Hesse. This was their guard regiment, wasn't it? The lead guard regiment, 115. Again, nice plate with the starburst in the centre and the honour scroll 1621. And again, you'll notice with Hesse helmets, especially the early ones, they have a different type spike. They have this very small fluted type spike which unscrews normally on the early ones. The later ones you can find different, because I think you've got an M15.
Yeah.
Is that an M15 there?
Would you like to see that?
Please, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is an M15 helmet. Now, with the Hesse, ones for the state of Hesse, you do find various different types. This has got what you call the standard configuration M15 spike with the circular base and the standard spike top. Now you do find ones with the original, the Hesse style Hesse style spike, and you sometimes find them with the Hess style cruciform, which Doug is going to show us here with this one. That is the typical configuration. This one in this hand here for a Hess helmet with a cruciform style spike base and the Hess.
You have to see that. Probably tilt it, do you?
Tilt it that way.
See them.
Yeah. So hopefully, collectors, you can see that. That is the typical, like I say, Hess spike base, and then it has the small fluted spike on the top. But like I say, M15s, you do see with the variations of spike styles, and there doesn't seem to be any reason for why that is the case. They're wonderful. So again, keeping on the pickle hall theme, and like we said earlier, we're going to quickly show you these ones, which we do find quite jovial. Is the pickled pickles.
The pickled pickles.
Pickled pickles. So
Okay.
show us these wonderful artifacts.
So first of all, we have a Bavarian 15, where you can see he's had a bit of a ding there as well.
Well, so you can see that's either either like a shrapnel or bullet graze there, and the spike has took probably what is that? It's a bullet or shrapnel?
I think it's a bullet actually.
It looks like a bullet, doesn't it? The way it's done.
And also the angle.
Very, very nice. It's very, very nice example of that, and real. It's got real character, and you can see the liners all just left completely untouched. Personally, myself, and I don't know if you're the same, Douglas, I always think you're best to leave items exactly as you got them. Try not to clean them. Try not to preserve them, because you
Leave the first of all cobwebs on.
Leave the first of all cobwebs on. Yeah, webs on from the trenches. That's the best thing to do, because otherwise you can end up doing more damage. So we would always
certainly cleaning them and over cleaning them ruins them, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. But all collectors can do as you wish of them, but that would be just our advice. And in the future, if you ever want to come to resell them, ones that have been over cleaned, we don't find often attracted as much attention as ones like this collection do.
Another pickled pickle.
Another pickled pickle. Now this again is a very, very nice sample, and this was featured in one of the reference works by Military Mode Publishing.
It was, yes.
Yeah, and
yes.
I think was it Oliver Locke?
Oliver Locke's Pickled Pickles.
Pickled Pickles, yeah. It might be a new title.
Battle Damaged.
Battle Damaged.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, so you can see this one with the damage to the spike. And again, like we were saying earlier about helmets for the Pioneer regiments. So this is for a Pioneer with the white metal fittings. Not to be confused with the M15 grey metal. These are actually like a silvered white metal fittings, which is for Pioneer.
It actually looks like the bullet's gone from behind on this.
It does
one,
almost, doesn't it? Yeah. So you can see.
But what the story is, we'll never know, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately not. No. But no, super.
Unfortunately, it's a bit more sad, this one, I suspect.
Okay.
Because it's got an entry hole and...
yeah. So this one...
So that's not everyone's cup of tea, because that,
No, this possibly, more than likely, could have been worn by, unfortunately, a gentleman who didn't survive the war, because we have an entry hole here, and we have an exit hole on the back here. And again, you can see the liner is, unfortunately, damaged or gone where that bullet would have struck. So not everyone's cup of tea. We do realise that, we do stress that, but it is still
It does bring it home.
It brings home the reality of World War One, and it leads us on actually very nicely to what we're going to talk about next with these, because obviously in 1916, like we said, they introduced the Stahlhelm, so the steel helmet. Because of things like this, the pickle halls would not stand up to the effects of battle. So again, collectors. So we go on to steel helmets, and these are always a fascinating subject. So tell us, Douglas, about the square dip.
Well, I believe it's the first version. I think February 1916, first used at Verdun, and basically it's just the way it's. To be honest, I always found it very difficult to tell the difference between this and any other Stahlhelm. But it is to do with the angle here and the manufacturing process, which was only used for the very earliest helmets, and then they improved it. They had problems making it this way. So I think there's just one maker, isn't there?
I believe so, yeah. There's one maker of these, which is, like I say, they're known in collector's terms as a square dip helmet. But yeah, these are the first Stahlhelms that came into production.
The lining's slightly different, isn't it? It's all Again, there's various versions of the lining on these,
but again, you can see with the leather, it's the 1916 with the leather band, and obviously 1917 they brought out the metal band, and then 1918 again there was changes as well. But there's some very good reference books out on Imperial German helmets. Another one just done by a good friend of ours, Oliver Locke, which again is well worth looking. Military Mode Publishing, so do check that book out. It's a good book to look at if you're interested in buying Imperial German helmets.
As a collector, I just pore over these and study them, because unfortunately nowadays you don't get the chance to handle them so much. There are not many dealers that open, so only going to auctions such as yours and handling them there, and indeed handling other collectors' items when they were shown to you. But the books are fantastic. There's so much information in them nowadays. It wasn't around when I first started collecting.
Well worth trying to get hold of some very good reference works, and you can find out which ones are the good reference books. Like I say, if you go to Military Mode Publishing, you'll be able to find a good selection of books that they produce. And I know Oliver Locke, who again a good friend of ours, has produced many reference works on the First World War. Some other interesting helmets that we've got here on display in Douglas's collection. You've got the various types of the M16/M17 steel helmet in like I say, various conditions and various styles of the field grey paint. In this centre shelf, you've got 3 very nice examples for the Guard division, which have got the painted shield on the side of them. I assume they're all painted. I mean, sometimes I think you can see a deckled one as well, I think. But again, most ones you do see are painted. So they're always very nice. And right in the top centre, you've got the ear cutout, which is known for sort of cavalry or telegraphist troops. We can see where the side of the shell has been cut out to receive sort of headphones. They're always very good to look for. Again, lots of fakes on the market, so collectors do be very careful when you're looking at buying one of those ear cutout helmets. But again, there's some very good reference works which will be able to help you to distinguish between an original and a reproduction example. As we move over onto these shelves, Douglas has got a fine selection here of camouflage steel helmets, and these are very iconic and classic World War I pieces, aren't they?
Yes, they're work of art, I think, because they're all unique and they're so many different designs. But again, you have to be very careful, don't you? There's so many copied ones and repainted ones, and
yes, you do have to be careful.
Everyone has an opinion on them, but
they do. But what always good to look for the patina. Look for ones that you can see.
The rust bleed is the thing that our friend Ollie always refers to.
Yeah, rust bleed is always a good thing to look for, and just generally, you once you start handling these pieces, you will get a good understanding of what to look for. But like I say, Douglas has got some very fine examples, and with values of camouflage helmets, it all depends on the quality of the camouflage. The more colourful and the more sort of in your face in a weird way, camouflage, the sort of more valuable it is. There is always the thing that a lot of helmets were painted after the war as well, just immediately after the war, and they were sent back to America often, and they're almost in the camouflage style that you find American doughboy helmets in, don't you? And they're becoming more desirable now as well.
Do you think they were painted in France and then sent back?
Well, there's lots of different talk about that, but yeah, no, I believe there's quite a few that were painted in France, and probably there were some that were painted afterwards as well. And there was always stories that Walt Disney painted some, but I've never seen one that's been a Walt Disney. But I have heard that there was helmets supposedly painted by Walt Disney, but I'm yet to see one that I could certainly say was.
It's the one with the Mickey Mouse on, I suppose.
That must be the one, the Mickey Mouse camo. Fine. So as we've worked our way round, we're coming now to a smaller display, I would have said, of yours, considering your collection, but still some really, really nice pieces. And you see this top shelf is mostly to do with the German air service in World War I. So try and explain a few of the pieces that you've got on here, Douglas.
Sticking to the hat theme, there we have a sort of later war, 1918, I think this one is, dated pilot's helmet. I don't know how much good that would do if you, but
so these style of these is known as the Prussian style, isn't it? They always refer to it as the Prussian style, where the Bavarian was a much different style, and the reason for that is there's pictures of aviators, and the ones from Bavaria always seem to be wearing this style, whereas the Prussians seem to be wearing this style that we've got here. But what's nice about this one is it's got the original field grey paint finish. So many you find have just got the black leather finish, which tends to be earlier. But as Dougie said, because this one is a later model, it's got the field grey paint finish. And sometimes they're marked, which this one is. So you can see it's all Flieger marked here, and like I said, dated 1918 there in the back. So again, it's a very, very nice example. Now, obviously, collectors, you may recognise these. Anyone interested in World War II may recognise these style helmets, because obviously these were adopted by the NSKK, the Third Reich's Motoring Association, and of course they put the badges on. So quite often you can find original First World War aviators helmets which have got hole marks from where they've had an NSKK badge at some point in its life. But that's a real nice classic German First World War. Tell us about this piece of aircraft fabric there you've got.
It is just that. It's a piece of aircraft fabric. It's actually written on where it was shot down and taken, and it folds out. It's quite a big piece, actually, altogether.
Oh, well, yeah. So,
you just fold it up.
So, a piece of German aircraft, wing brought down in October 1918 in the place where it was brought down in France. So,
the lozenge.
Yeah, lozenge.
I think they adapted again towards the end of the war, didn't they?
Yeah, no, and those are really hard to find pieces. I mean, sadly, the market is full of the large Balkan cross fabrics, which again, collectors, there are original examples, but do be very, very careful.
Funny enough, that one was Mickey's one.
Was it?
And it came from your auction. So
did it? Oh, okay. So that was from the Baldwin collection again, was it?
It is,
No, Mickey was a superb knowledge on those sort of pieces. So anything from his collection was always is always very prized by a lot of collectors, even now, even a good few years after the sales took place. So but nice. If you can get stuff with original labels where it's brought back, always look for that, and it's always a good sound investment for collectors.
It means so much more, doesn't it?
It does.
A bit of history.
A bit of history with it, it's always good. And then going down to the bottom of this case now, you've got some of these sort of German firearms. So tell us a little bit about some of these.
Well, they're just, I suppose, basically the standard firearms, the Luger and the artillery Luger, which is, I think, a nice example.
Superb,
So used by officers or by artillery, in fact, and obviously gave you a bit more range. Clearly, they're all deactivated. And then, of course, the Mauser, which is another classic.
Yeah, so you've got the broom-handled Mauser pistol here, which, again, a lot of people will recognise, made famous a little bit later on by a certain Han Solo with the Mauser pistol. That's what his pistol was based on for the Star Wars franchise. It was all based on the German weapons. So you can see, but that's again
Napoleon Solo as well. I think he had one, didn't he? In the Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Oh, okay.
And Winston Churchill used it, didn't he, in the film at Omdurman, I think.
Oh, okay. Right. I wasn't aware of that.
He used 1896. They came in, and I think he used one in 1898.
Right. Okay. So so they're a good classic, famous pistol, aren't they? From that sort of World War I period.
Yes,
everyone always treasures the Luger, but you probably see 10 Lugers to every one Brumman Mauser, I would have said. Would you say maybe even more than that? Yeah.
Yes, maybe more than that.
Very, very rare to find. And again, collectors, like we said, I don't want to keep saying the same things, but sort of dressing the collection, you've got some nice little bits of paperwork here, the soul book, the Militaria Pass, death notices, and again, of course, the classic Iron Cross. Yeah, so look, that was a fabulous little look at this collection. And as you scan around the room, I'm sure collectors, you'll be telling us that you've seen other items that you'd like us to have spoken about that we haven't. But so I do apologise if we have missed anything that you would like to have seen. But again, I say that we've got the lovely trench signs, which are so rare to find.
Special things.
Yeah, you're very lucky.
Of all the things, they're my favourite, really.
Are they? Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Because you know that they were there, and the soldiers saw them every day. I mean, I don't know why, but it just fascinates me.
No, I understand that totally. I mean, I love this one, To Jackdaw's Tunnels. I mean, that is superb.
It was actually, I mean, that's from the Ypres sector, Hooge, and it was a German trench that we described. We have it on our trench maps. But funny enough, there's all the Jackdaw system. There's Jackdaw Tunnel, Jackdaw Support, etc. But the Jackdaw tunnels is when we took them in 1917.
Oh, okay.
And we renamed them what we've been calling them all along.
Right.
And I suspect that one never appeared on a trench map. And I suspect because it was a tunnel and we didn't know about it.
Didn't know about it. Yeah.
So
Okay.
presumably it was a Jackdaw Tunnel A and a Jackdaw Tunnel B. So maybe one was going up, one was coming down. Who knows? But
Fabulous.
that's, as I say, the Sanctuary Wood Hooge sector that came from.
That's wonderful.
And Burr Crossroads was just down the road from there. So
Yeah. No, I think we've only ever had one trench side in our cell, or maybe a couple over the years, but very, very few. And they are very, very sought after when they do turn up. I hope you've really enjoyed this video. Thank you to Douglas for showing us some of the pieces in his collection. We're delighted. We're luckily very fortunate to be able to be filming another video with Douglas shortly, because it's not only the German stuff you're interested in, but of course, like all First War collectors, he's got the British side, and that is as good as a collection as I've said the Imperial German stuff is. So we're really excited to be filming that for you as well this afternoon, and that will be appearing on our YouTube channel shortly. So, but just for now, I'd like to say, Douglas, thank you so much for taking the time to show us. Okay, thank you. Thank you.